Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 75. What's up, Left Hand?
3/4 of a century.
Did you do anything with guns this week?
Yeah, man. Took the 300 Black out, took the top off it, put the SDI upper on it for the 5.56, dropped in the Elfman trigger, and took it out to a friend's range locally and tried it out. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah. I liked it better than Jason's. I don't know what he had his set on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the same trigger.
With the 300 Blackout, too?
Well, no, it was the 300 Blackout lower.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But it had the 5.56
But
upper.
I changed out, put a 5.56 upper on it. The one that he brought us, the camo two-face.
Yeah.
The two-face.
Yeah.
And it shot, I mean, it felt beautiful. I mean, it was just so light. Did you get to shoot it?
Pepper is in the audience, by the way.
Yeah, Pepper and I went out, did a little shooting this weekend. Took that one out. She got some range time in with her 380. Was knocking the eyes out of it. And that's about all I've done with guns. Other than our thing that we did.
Yeah, that's about all I've done. We're working on our 100th video, and it's going to be a surprise, so we're not going to fill you in on that.
Spill the beans on that.
But it's coming. And then today, it's kind of weird because we got lots of bright lights in here.
Bright lights, big city.
Yeah.
We call them the ugly lights.
What is going on here?
They're making us ugly on TV.
Amen.
So the voice you're
hearing.
hearing.
We've got faces for radio.
So the voice you're hearing is Chad Hoover of what's it called? Not Right.
Book One.
That's Not Right.
That's Not Right.
Yeah, and Kayak Bassin TV on World Fishing Network, and Not Right Kayak Fishing on NBC Sports.
And owner of Hook One.
Owner of Hook One, kayak fishing gear over in Hendersonville, about 30 minutes from here, and kayakbassfishing.com, the website as well. So,
And you brought
Is there anything you're not a part of?
yes, I'm not a part of the current administration's re-election campaign.
Okay.
What I'm not
That's a good
part of.
thing.
Well, considering they can't get reelected.
Oh,
since
no,
this is his
there's
second
that
term.
law. He's trying to pass that law for the third term.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's really happened?
Yeah, he's actually put in a whole executive request and trying to put it up before a vote and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, he's made everything
I
else
think
up.
he is. Too.
Yeah.
No, he's made everything else up along the way. So, yeah, he's definitely trying to petition for a third term.
Wouldn't
Wow.
surprise me if he didn't try doing something like that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
But you brought an entourage with you, and they've got these big, bright... I'm not looking to my left anymore because I'm blind.
Yeah, it's there's some cameras. And
Steve, it's not that you're not a good-looking guy. It's just I can't look over there. It's like there's a sun.
I brought a good friend of mine, Steve Johnson, along, inventor of the triple barrel shotgun, known as the Triple Crown and the Triple Threat. Actually, you know what? I'll just turn it over to Steve and let Steve tell you what he
You guys
brought.
brought a couple little gifts with you today, right? You're not.
couple
They're gifts?
You're
Wait a
gifts,
minute.
right? You're
These are
leaving them
gifts?
with us, right?
The gift of touch. The gift of touch.
Visualization.
Yes.
It's customary that when a guest comes, they leave a gun, so
Yes.
or two.
Okay.
Yep. We have a dildo gun in the truck, battery operated, and 110 as well as 220.
Okay.
So you can use it in Europe also.
If you want to crank it up, yep. Well, we have the travel kit.
Okay.
Okay.
He's got the adapter.
The adapter
Nice.
on both ends.
Oh, wow. So, Steve.
Let's go kill a zombie.
Well, you got the right gun to do it with.
Yeah, no, this is, I had the idea back several years ago and talked with several companies, and it took me a few years, but finally found a company to make it, and it's created a lot of buzz. And definitely a cool gun. I originally designed it for waterfowl hunting, but we've got a home protection version, and it's basically a double barrel with a single barrel on top, breakdown shotgun, and it's actually the fastest shooting shotgun in the market,
Really?
production-wise.
Now, in your R&D, my biggest question is, did y'all rig it at some point to where you could shoot all three at the same time?
It's not been done yet, but we may let Chad try that sometime.
I think that's
We're going to call that the Not Right edition.
Yes.
I'm looking down the barrel right now of which one is this one called?
That's the Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown.
Yeah.
This one is not for little people.
No.
No.
The other one you got over there is. But talk about the mechanics and how it works.
It's a breakdown shotgun. It's got 3 mechanical hammers. So every time you break it down, it resets it to the first shot. The shoots clockwise, so it's the bottom left or bottom right barrel shoots first.
So in Europe, does it do the opposite?
Yeah, if you hold it
In
opposite.
Australia.
You mind
In
if I dry
Australia.
fire?
Go ahead and fire it off
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Just quick as you pull it through.
Yeah, break it down and do it again. Fire it all 3 times. Let's see how quick you are.
Just
on the
quick as
blow
you can
there,
shoot.
Zeke.
It'll just keep going.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
just boom, boom, boom.
Okay, so it has a little bit of give.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second
You got to
one.
let off of it and
Gotcha.
just pull it again. Yeah.
Yep,
But there's some cool videos on YouTube with shooting zombie watermelons. You can actually see how fast it shoots. And I originally designed it for a waterfowl hunting gun because you can only have 3 shots. That's a federal mandate.
Right.
What's unique about this gun is we can have 3 different chokes, and you can also stack your shells. So in a hunting situation, you can actually create an improved cylinder modified full choke based in that sequence, or you can do it all full choke. So you got a lot of versatility.
Nice.
So how do they come up with only three shots, 3 rounds allowed?
You know, I'm
Where's
not-
that come
Like
from?
toss a coin.
It's a hunting thing. It's
That's
a federal thing.
that's
So
been- yeah.
by and large, you
Gamesmanship, right?
keep shooting as the ducks are flying away. You're just winging a bunch and crippling them. That law was actually put into place when lead was predominant in the waterfowl kind of industry. Now that steel's come along, it's not going to go away because it's such a big part of waterfowling. You know, you can't take the plug out of the shotgun. It's
Right.
it's sportsman stuff, and so. But I think by and large, that rule was adopted because of lead and because of winging birds, and then poisoning them once they're down in South America, wherever it is that they go to breed, and frolic on the beach, or frolic on the
Frolic.
beach, or
Phallic.
phallic on the beach.
So is that why you came up with the 3-barrel idea? Is because of the 3 shell limit?
Well, if anybody's waterfowl hunting, some of your best waterfowl hunting is when the weather is just terrible with rain, ice, or snow. So I've run into situations several times where my gun would jam, whether it's a pump or an automatic.
Right.
But this situation, I really thought about this gun for simplicity because you don't have any parts that would jam. So it's very, very simple, but it's very effective. And then as it evolved, we talked about being a home protection gun. They did a study back a few years ago, and it shows the shotgun's actually the safest home protection gun because of when you shoot, the shotgun will stop at the walls, whereas a lot of your pistols, the bullets will travel through the house.
Right. We've had conversations about this on our show, and there's a debate about that.
Yeah, but the one thing come out was the pistol that shoots the 410 cartridges is very popular.
The Judge.
Taurus. Yeah.
So for a lot of women, it's a pretty big gun. So this gun here, actually, with being able to be held with 2 hands, and especially we're looking to bring out a 410 version, it's going to be really, really nice for women to pick this gun up. They don't really know how to use a gun except take the safety off. So it's going to, I think it will create a really big market for the home defense.
Plus, you got the scare factor.
Yeah.
You point that at anybody, they're not going to feel very comfortable.
It kind of looks like a little Gatling gun.
We're gonna refer to this as the welcome mat at my house. So
Also, we
Or they
termed
get the
the
hell
phrase.
out, Matt, right?
yeah.
It's the
And I got a 13-year-old daughter. Sorry to step on you there, Steve, but she's turning the corner of where the
Dating
hormone
times.
laden boys start to show up. And
Yeah.
So I'm going to refer to this as the menage a trois. Yeah, don't show up at my house
It'd be the non-menage
thinking you're
a trois,
involving
right?
my daughter in a 3-way because I got
Yes.
my own 3-way.
You're going to have
for you.
that etched in on the barrel, right?
Yeah.
the
That
triple
would be
D,
awesome.
Clean
Daddy's
them out.
dating deterrent's what I'm
There you go.
calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's also
D.
a great zombie shooting gun too. That's a big craze right now.
Because
Zombie.
zombies are real.
They're real and they're getting smart.
Well, what was cool was what you pointed out is the 3 barrels that you've got there. They kind of are reminiscent of the biohazard symbol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the zombies, the ones that's getting smart, you can take 2 shots in the body to slow them down, and then focus in on the last shot for the head, and they're done.
You know what's
You
hilarious?
shoot all 3 to the head.
It's all about the head.
You know what's hilarious? Zombies are the only horror creature that has become something where when you discuss it, you talk about it like it's real.
Well, you
Like
know,
we
I'm
don't
into
talk about
zombies.
vampires like, oh well, the vampire, the
That's
smart
my
ones
thing.
are the ones that have to take the
Yeah.
sword through the heart.
My
The ones
holster
that have become immune to holy water and sunlight,
Yes.
and they can fly
But with
And
zombies, we
they can
talk
also
about them
have
like they're real.
sex with mortals.
with mortals.
Procreate with a baby with a devil tail.
Yeah, or
The tail falls off when they're like 7. So,
yeah.
But I noticed that
It's kinda like
your
Wolverine.
hook is zombie green.
yes,
Your logo.
everything is zombie. I like the lime green. I like to refer to it as Hook One Green. Yeah,
Or
it's
talking
you
lead
know,
green.
Yeah.
or
Talking lead green.
smart ass business people green.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's what I call it.
Remember
Okay.
us, Green.
Yep.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the gun and what you've got going on, but right now it's time for the Jackwagon train. This week brought to you by 1776united.com.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
So who's our Jackwagon this week?
I think it needs to be a whole country.
The whole country or just the government of that country?
Well, yeah, the government, but, why not the whole country? North Korea.
And what happened with that? You know the details. You told me about it, and I just laughed
Well,
my
I just
ass
heard
off.
a little bit about it, and basically what's going on is there's a new movie getting ready to come out. You guys know who Seth Rogen is?
Yeah, I heard about
We
that.
do.
Heard about that
You've
on
heard
the
about
news.
it? Yeah, it's called the
Something.
Informant or something like that.
Here, I'll
or
look
the
it up while
interview.
you
No,
talk.
it's called The Interview. And it's Seth Rogen and James Franco are in it. And basically what they
Wait,
are...
they're in a movie together?
Another one?
Come on, get out of here. Let's see.
And they're high and they're bumbling idiots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could believe it. But anyway, they land this interview with what's his name, Kim Jong Un.
Oh yeah.
Well, Kim Jong-il was the dad, and this one's is
Kim Jong Un, I think.
Something.
I thought his name was Kim Jong Gone.
Anyway, it's
needs to be.
what's his name? The basketball player's best buddy.
Huh?
What
Oh,
do they do?
Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tight. But anyway, they have threatened war with the United States if we allow that. The United States allows that movie to be released.
Over a movie.
Basically, what they are is they land this interview with him, and the CIA intercepts them, and they want them to assassinate him. So
Yeah, I've seen the
that's kind of the
previews.
premise of the movie is they want to assassinate Kim Jong Un, whatever his name.
And we're sure it's not like the typical propaganda that he puts out in their country. Like, I hit 12 hole-in-ones
well,
on
it
my
sounds
last
to me
golf
like
round.
your typical Hollywood movie promotion thing, you know.
That could
Yeah,
be
let's
that
say
too.
that this movie may actually cause war if we air it. And since the last 4 movies we've put out have been bombs, let's say this movie is going to result in bombs, and then maybe we'll get some
The irony of it, huh?
the irony.
The irony.
And their other
The
movie
irony.
was called something like The End of the World or
The end.
something.
This is the end.
This is the end.
Yeah.
It's the only movie I've ever seen that had Kenny Powers in it that sucked. Because Kenny Powers should run for president.
Kenny Powers is awesome.
I would vote for Kenny Powers.
Not what's his name, the actor, the character. Kenny
No,
Powers.
yeah, not the actor.
The MF-CEO of
Yeah, the-
K-Swiss.
The mother
Wasn't
CEO.
our favorite comedian that we always listen to when we do road trips on that too? Yeah, what's his name?
You talking about Daniel Tosh?
No, the little Indian dude that doesn't sound like he's Indian.
Yeah, but he dies in it real quick.
Does he really?
He falls down a hole.
What's his name?
Aziri.
Yeah, he is hilarious.
He's always on Daniel Tosh's Pandora channel.
Yeah.
Because I love some
Yeah, that's
Daniel
what we
Tosh.
listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we turn on.
So
all the road
North
trips.
Korea, if that is in fact true, you're on the jackwagon train.
Welcome.
I think they were pretty much jack wagons before
For a while.
Franco and Rogan gave them a stage.
Yeah. I
As soon
love
as they
reading.
allowed Dennis Rodman in their country,
They became friends.
that kind of did it. Yeah.
I just love reading the propaganda that he
Did we
puts
just
out
have
to the
one this
country.
week?
Yeah, I didn't have another one. Y'all got Jackwagon you want to throw on the
Anybody
Jackwagon?
want to throw on the train?
Well, just the standard
That-
jack wagon that occupies America's highest office.
That's,
But
that's
He's on
becoming a
there.
recurring theme for you.
for me, yeah, it is.
He's on there.
We'll just leave it at that.
Sounds good.
Actually, can I elaborate on that a little bit? Why do we allow
Please
the
do.
first lady to talk, like at all?
Any of 'em.
Like in the history
Why
of the
ever,
White House?
Period. Like,
Yeah.
you know who did it right? Barbara Bush. Barbara Bush didn't say
She just smiled
anything. She just stood. Now, granted, she was probably just doing all she could to be vertical,
She was stern.
but she just didn't talk.
She smiled and nodded.
looked-
She smiled and nodded.
She looked
and like Steve's
scary.
already pointed out, women are weak He said that.
No, I
they're
never
not
said
that
that.
smart.
I never said
So they're
that.
not. He said they're weak. He said they couldn't shoot
No, I never
big
said
guns.
that. I think you said that.
And he
Chad.
said that they were weak. They couldn't hold the gun up,
No, I
right?
think-
And so
I
here's
think-
the thing.
I think
Talking lid does
Clarifying
not
this,
dip
Steve.
I'm just
condone that
clarifying that
statement.
Steve said that,
No,
and
we
that I didn't
designed
say
a
it.
gun for women.
I've already had my run-in with little people. I do not need the whole female sex coming after me. But here's the
Wait, he did
actually
say that about the
does sound.
No, yeah.
Like a good
So make
idea.
the comment that women can't hold
Yeah, I mean they're weak and they're not very smart.
because now they're going to all come after
And
you.
so anyway, no, it was
See, you've already got one after
it
you.
was
right there.
designed just to get some foreplay.
So did
Anyway.
you watch Willy Wonka
I did.
in the Chocolate Factory?
Yes.
Is that where you get your fear?
Several times.
Oompa Loompas?
No. It goes all the way back to.
Where is this going?
If we got to delve off into this, you know,
we really don't have to.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Nip it right now.
I accidentally touched one's hand one time when I was reaching for a doorknob, and and it was just the weird, coldest feeling ever. And I looked over, and he pulled his hand back, but he had like little half fingers.
How do you know
And
it wasn't just a
freaked me out
kid, a
ever
little
since then.
8-year-old?
What's that? No, he was a full-grown man.
Okay.
Looking up at me,
Get up
and
at you.
apologizing for touching my hand, and so ever since then, I've just been weirded out.
What's that movie?
So this is a real fear.
It's a legitimate fear. I'm not making this up. My blood pressure goes up.
What's the
My
one with
heart
Will
rate
Ferrell
accelerates.
where Peter Dinklage was in it? He was
the
the
elf.
elf.
Call me elf again.
Let
He
me
beat his ass.
qualify. Let me qualify this statement with: I'm not really fearful of many things. I've ridden bulls. You know, I've been to a couple of wars. I flew the most dangerous helicopter in the military arsenal for almost a decade. I text and drive. You know, I'm not really that afraid of many
That's
things.
equivalent.
But there is a genuine
All right,
Like-
there's a name for this fear. I've gotta
pulse
look it up.
quickening thing that happens, and it's not just around like physically, personally around them. I mean, it's pictures, it's likenesses on TV. The only one that doesn't weird me out is Wee Man from Jackass, and I think that's because he kicked himself in the forehead, and it kind of the cool factor outweighed the weird factor.
So when you originally said that, it wasn't a joke just for the show.
No, it's
it
not
was a legitimate.
Yeah, it was a
thing.
legitimate deal.
Yeah.
And like when I met my business partner Chris, he actually said one day something about, oh man, that he said, dude, it's not an offensive thing, but it freaked me out. And I said, dude, that's the only person I'd ever met. Mm-hmm. So we had that moment, you know, where the music slowed down and his beard started to blow in the wind, and I realized that I had found my soul mate in business. You
Right.
know what I mean? Not like,
Sure.
you know,
That's what we'll say on the show.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, so I've just been weirded out. And so I've got two. One of them is a lot lower distribution, meaning I guess it recurs a lot less in the human genetic code, but it's the albino, but it's not like albino, pink-eyed albino with white hair. It's the clear skin, crystal eyes.
No hair.
Yeah, no hair, kind of
Geronto-
powder, basically.
Gerontophobia is
So
the
it's
fear,
real.
is fear of old people.
Oh.
Well, we didn't say old people.
Gerontophobia.
What if you got an old little person?
Well, that's how good
Man, an
Google
old little
is.
person,
Albino
albino
little
would,
person.
I would be done.
Oh,
No, wait a minute. I don't have an old person phobia. You
he
put
pulled
words
that
in
out of
my
his
mouth.
Daemon, daemonophobia.
Demon phobia? See, I told you they were possessed.
Daimono.
I mean, they're definitely evil. Oh, wait.
Damon.
Did you
Damon.
say Damon?
Damon.
Damon? Can you want me to read it? I'm not from Tennessee. You want me to read it?
Daemono. Hold on, it's downloading.
Daimonophobia.
Is there like a
Demono-
little speaker next to it where you can pronounce it? It press the button and it pronounces
No,
it for you?
it's-
He's got a
not
damn
Webster.
Windows phone.
You can put
it's
that into
crap.
Google. And
What
it'll
is the fear of
say it for
dwarves
you.
or little people? Is it a recognized phobia?
Daimonophobia.
There's a nanu. I think people are just making stuff up. Man. Nanophobia, dwarfphobia. I don't fear them. I think they're hot. Phobias.com. Windows phones suck.
damn Windows phone. So, anyways,
So anyway, I said we didn't have to get into it. He's looking it up online.
yeah.
So
And he said, I would hope we don't,
right
and jumped right in.
now you're the farthest down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And we're all waiting for you
He
to climb
ran
back out.
He ran Alice over and
I was
stepped
waiting
on
for
the
you to
back
take
of
this
her head.
train somewhere else. So
Well,
let's
let's ask
get
the
into
questions.
and ask our
Okay, let's-
questions. How about that?
All right.
question.
So, first question for you guys: how did you originally get in firearms?
Who's first?
Chad.
I originally got in firearms because there was one leaning up in the corner, well, every corner of my house growing up. So my dad came home drunk on a regular basis, And I'm not saying that everyone who has a drunk dad should lean firearms up in the corner of their house, but that's what my mom did. In fact, I'm saying you probably shouldn't. And if you have an alcoholic parent, there are phone numbers you can call. But don't put firearms that are loaded in the corner because it can backfire on you. No, but all joking aside, I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional household, close relatives, near relatives, distant relatives. The town I lived in, everybody had 2 guns in the back window, literally, in high school, at church. Nobody ever got raped where I'm from. Nobody ever broke into anybody's house. There was never a McDonald's that got walked into. Well, we don't have a McDonald's. Nobody ever walked into the Dairy Queen and shot anybody up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there'd be a whole bunch.
What town is this?
Jonesville, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm originally from Faraday, which is where Jerry Lee Lewis, Mickey Gilley, and the televangelist Jimmy Swaggart are from.
So there's a lot of sexual dysfunction.
I mean, there's a lot of just general dysfunction where I grew up.
You name 3 of the most controversial sexual situations.
Well, I mean,
culture.
Just because you married your 13-year-old cousin doesn't make you a sexual deviant.
And cheated on your...
Just because you amassed a televangelistic empire and then got caught with a penthouse centerfold in a hotel... Maybe he was trying to witness to her. Nobody ever really gave him a chance.
That's true. Naked.
And he asked God to forgive him on national television, and God did, because he said he did. Yeah. Because he talked to him right after that. And everything was good.
Yeah.
And then Mickey Gilley, he brought us Gillies. So,
sure.
He showed us that if you build it, it will burn. You know what I mean? So, oh, shit. Did I say that out? Is that recorded, what I just said?
Yeah, but I can edit it.
Anyway.
Is he sponsoring you?
No.
Then don't worry about it.
Exactly.
So here's the closest phobia I can find.
And we're back on that. He hadn't climbed down the hole yet.
Fear of ventriloquist dummies, animatronics, creatures, wax statues. Automatonophobia.
That's an automaton. That's
I actually like puppets.
Yeah.
So
he's got a fetish for puppets.
Dolls.
Ventriloquist dummies, they don't scare you? They scare me.
Disclaimer, that was left hand that just said little people were equated to puppets.
Have you guys...
No, I said his fear. This is the closest thing I could find.
I said
for his fear.
I like dolls.
So don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that.
Do you guys do jokes on your show at all?
No.
We don't tell knock-knock jokes.
We could start a joke segment.
Well,
how about
I've got a... Since you brought up dolls...
Okay.
I've got a doll joke that I just became...
Is it the real doll?
No. Actually, it's a blow-up doll joke. Have you guys heard this one? So a guy walks into he walks into a sex shop and he's like, "Hey, I'm it's been a minute and was wondering if you guys might have some blow-up companionship." And she said, "Oh, honey, you're looking for a blow-up doll?" He said, "Well, yeah." And she said, "All right, well, follow me right over here to the blow-up doll section." And while she was walking over there, she said, were you looking for a Christian blow-up doll or a Muslim blow-up doll?" And he said, "Wow, well, what's a Muslim blow-up doll?" She said, "Oh, they blow themselves up."
Oh,
Can you guys use that? I don't know if
we can use that.
All right, cool. So anyway.
Yeah. We've never told jokes on the show, have we?
I don't know. I think the whole show's a joke.
No.
In and of itself.
Anyway, so back to guns. I just, I can't remember them not being part of my life. They were in every car I got in. Both of my grandpas were foremen at catfish farms. So they rode around shooting coyotes and rode around shooting birds that were, feeding on the catfish and buzzards and things like that. And I mean,
so you've been around them your whole life.
I can't remember not hunting. I can't remember not fishing.
What was the first gun that you could call your own?
The first gun that I could call my own was a Ithaca 20 gauge breakdown barrel. Probably should have started me with something smaller because it scared the crap out of me the first time it scared the shit out of me.
How old were you?
I mean, I shit a little when I shot it.
You shatted?
Yeah, I did.
Sharded?
And I was probably 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah, that's
and
pretty
then
big for a 4-year-old.
And then my next gun was a little Marlin 22 that they cut the stock down on. And so we used that, and I had to pack it around in the woods coon hunting. See, my dad got, let's just say he got hurt in the oil field, and then he developed an alternative source of income.
Let's just say.
And so to look legitimate, what we did is we did a lot of hunting and trapping and commercial fishing, even though there was other stuff that we there are other commerce that we
Yeah.
engaged in.
Other crops.
Other crops like okra, and so we did a lot of coon hunting. And back before, I think it was Pamela Anderson got naked for PETA and said, "I'll
Nice.
never put fur on my clothes" or whatever. You used to be able to go sell fur. You could go sell fur. We actually had a fur market. You go down there, you kill the coons, the raccoons. We call them coons where I'm from. And you clean them, you sell the hides, you sell the meat, and you make a living. We used to catch crawfish and sell them. And so probably my first memories of shooting was my grandpa was a commercial crawfisher, but he would put these traps out in this swamp area, and he would tow me along in a canoe, and he was using the canoe to put out the traps on one pass and then come back around with buffalo carp cut up for the bait on the second pass. And my job was to ride in the canoe and shoot water moccasins. And so I got to be a really good shot really young, because if I didn't shoot it, he'd take the gun from me, shoot the water moccasin, and then slap me upside the head and say, "You're wasting ammo." And so I shot snakes for probably 5 years with that 22 before I shot that Ithaca 20 gauge again. And then
That'd be a pretty good shot to hit a water moccasin with a 22.
no,
Suckers are
yeah, but
slithering and
they're aggressive and they start coming at you.
Do you want to know what it is?
What's that?
Your phobia.
The phobia? Yeah, I do.
Nanosophobia.
Nanosa?
Nanosophobia. Fear of a dwarf or little people.
All right, I'm getting on Twitter tonight
It's
and letting that
also
little know that
acnoroplasiophobia.
my thing was real.
Fear-
I'm going to go with the other one. What was it?
Nanosophobia. Like nano.
Yeah,
So phobia.
there is.
Do you have an irrational fear of albinos? Then?
Listen to me. Let me explain something to you. You could put those damn EKG things on me, and you could literally just have me open my eyes and show me flashcards. I'm not making this up. And you could go through a whole bunch of stuff, and you could show like Scarlett Johansson and Megan Fox and all them, and they're going to get blood pressure rises and all that kind of
spikes.
stuff. Spikes. My pupils are going to dilate, and then you could show me a picture of an albino, or the albino specifically that we talked about,
Yeah.
and everything's going to go nuts.
So
I'm
you
telling
can't watch the movie Powder.
Absolutely not.
Or
Wow.
No,
the
dude.
jackal. Isn't there one in the jackal?
Yeah, but that's the albino that he's not afraid of.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of the ones that have some color, like the pink eyes
And
a
the
little bit
hair.
of, and the hair's a different color. But when it's like monochromatic, everything's like one color. The hair's like almost clear. Their skin's almost translucent.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
You're 39. You may have watched that movie. There was a movie with Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn back in the day, and there was an albino in it.
No, because I can tell you, if I had watched it, I would
Does it sound
remember
like
it.
that?
Because seriously, dude, I'm telling you, my pulse will go up. It just did. It just spiked when he showed me that picture. That's
He started breaking out a sweat.
because I mean, it's like, and it's like almost like it's almost like that movie with the blue people. What's that movie called?
Blue people. Smurfs?
Starts with an A where they're
Avatar?
Avatar. It's like they're the Avatar version of that to me, and they're magical or something. But they scare the shit out of me.
Okay.
So Steve, how'd you
Steve,
get
how'd
the
you get the
guns?
firearms?
So I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever saw like a true albino little person, I would unload all 3 barrels of this triple threat if I was approached, because it's a fear. It's a legitimate deal.
Wow. Steve.
Let's see, my first gun was a Daisy BB Rider BB gun. About 9 years old. And then I went to a 410 shotgun breakdown.
See, that would have made sense to start me with a BB gun.
Yeah.
I had BB guns later, but we started with real ammo.
You didn't mess
Firearms.
around. They just
Yeah.
What was your
cut
first
your
like
teeth on a big one.
combustible firearm?
That was a 410 shotgun.
Okay.
Yeah, probably, about 11 years old.
Yeah, that was my first too.
Used it for squirrel hunting and grew up hunting, and then graduated up. When I was 13, ordered a Remington 870 left-handed version because I shoot left-handed.
Me too.
So, but then
He's not left-handed.
Yeah.
It's just his name.
But I've always had a fascination with guns, primarily with hunting, and ultimately come up with this idea to invent this triple barrel shotgun. So it was pretty cool to get the triple barrel shotgun.
How old were you when you first came up with this idea?
It was back in 2001 when I had the idea. I got the patent issued in 2005.
So you're in your, 30s?
I'm 45.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
He uses
Looking
that
good.
cream.
You're older than me. Damn. Not
He
many
uses-
people older than me on
He
this
uses
show.
that cream.
Yeah.
Your cream?
Yeah,
What?
facial cream. Protein enriched.
Yeah.
So do either of you have any military law enforcement background?
20 years. Retired. 20 years, 5 days. I was Navy.
From Navy?
Yep.
You
I
said
did,
you mentioned something about helicopters?
Yeah, I did
Tell us about
search and rescue, combat search and rescue, and got commissioned and was in the pilot training pipeline for about 3 years with some problems. I had this tooth right here pulled, and actually
Did we
Look into
just
the
become
camera.
best
Look into the
friends?
camera. Yeah, show the camera.
Hang on.
actually let me tell you this story.
Did we just become
That's
best
the
friends?
same. That's the
It's
same,
same
tooth.
tooth.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I bet you my story for how I lost mine's better than yours.
I got mine yanked
I
out.
bet it's something
Okay.
the military does.
No, it's
a
actually
little secret
no.
project that they
it goes
do.
back to guns. So my cousin Dewey, who will never listen to this, so I can say it, is probably one of the I won't say dumbest. We'll say least intelligent people on the face of the earth. And Dewey got me into more shit growing up than anybody has ever gotten me into in my entire life. I spent 20 years with some of the dumbest you'll ever have the opportunity to serve or work with, and Dewey made them all look like geniuses. So one day we're out in the yard and we're playing around, and Dewey gets the idea that he's going to spit in the barrel of a Daisy 880 pellet gun. You know, the one that has a little diamond on the side, and you cock it like the more you cock it, the harder it shoots. And then you pull the lever back to cock it or it won't shoot.
Right.
So he takes the BB out of the barrel, but then he sits there and he works up some spit and spits it down the barrel. And to get it to shoot, he has to cock it. Well, you know, there's BBs in the gun free floating. So he cocks it and loads a BB into the chamber. I'm sitting at a picnic table eating watermelon. This is why my teeth hurt every time I start eating watermelon to this day. And he walks up behind me and
look
he
at that phobia.
he sticks the gun to the back of my head and taps me on the shoulder. And when I turn around, he pulled the trigger thinking he's going to shoot me in the face
With spit?
with spit. And my whole world went black. Literally, my vision, I saw it kind of come down, like it grayed down, and then it just kind of hung there for a second. It was like I was looking through a tunnel, and then I couldn't hear anything, and then everything just kind of came back, and Dewey was standing there looking like he just saw a ghost because blood was running down my face. And what had happened was he shot me through the face, and it hit the top of the roots. You know, how the roots hit the very tip top of the root. Now, here's the thing. Fast forward 17, 18 years when I'm in the Navy and I'm becoming a pilot, and I'm going through the pilot training pipeline, and I'm doing these
My teeth are
aerial
hurting right
maneuvers, and it feels like I'm getting stuck in the face with an ice pick. Well, about 5 years before that, when I was a search and rescue air crewman, I had problems with altitude, so they sent me over to get a root canal. And I remember the doctor saying I had a big crack at the top of the tooth, but I never associated it back to when Dewey had shot me in the face.
Never thought of that, huh?
I didn't think I would ever say Dewey shot me in the face out loud. But anyway, so when Dewey shot me in the face with the pellet gun, it had hit the top of that tooth.
The spit laced.
And the BB came out in my mouth. I actually showed him the BB, and he almost passed out. And so fast forward 15 years, and I'm having problems when I'm flying. And so they send me into the dentist because sinuses is usually the problem. But they send you to a dentist before they send you to an ENT, an ear, nose, throat specialist. And the dentist did a CT scan and was like, or had a CT scan done and was like, yeah, you got a cracked tooth. You need to have a root canal. So they did 3 failed root canal attempts. And I said, you know what? I'm done with this. Pull the tooth. I'm tired of not flying. We were in the Gulf. We're in the middle of the shit. I was wanting to get in. You know, I didn't want to be sitting on the sidelines washing airplanes and working on airplanes and doing all that stuff. I wanted to be out there flying around. We're right in the middle of Kosovo, Bosnia. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, they pulled the tooth, but they left some gauze up in there. So fast forward another 6-8 years when I'm doing my Navy pilot training, I started having real bad altitude sensitivity problems. And when we would do this move called and I like this move. It's called the penetration maneuver, and I'm not making this up. You can look it up if you're a pilot.
No, I believe
You
you.
fly with the tack in, which tells you how close you're getting to the base,
Uh-huh.
and it's for in bad weather when all your other instruments are failed. And when you hit 0, before it starts to go back up again, you start to do a turn. You do an aggressive turn down over the top of the airfield, and when you pick it up visually, you just fly back around and land. It's a cool maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the penetration maneuver
When it works,
and
yeah.
it's so. When I would do that, you have such a rapid rate of descent, it would feel like somebody was shoving an ice pick in my face. So they sent me back to some doctors who did some CT scans, but they only did like the frontal. They didn't do the side. And after 3 surgeries to correct the problem, they finally figured it out by sending me to a specialist. The specialist did the slices. He did like 6 different angles.
Mm-hmm.
He found the tooth and then asked me how I had lost the tooth in the first place. And I told him. He goes, "Oh, well, then that explains this." And there's actually muscular tears in the cheek muscle going through, and you could see it on the CT scan. It was like a line. And
Wow.
he said,
From like 17 years ago.
"Yeah." He's like, "Hey, have you ever had any facial trauma?" And I said, "Well, I rodeoed. I did some. They call it MMA now, but it was dudes fighting to make money for rodeoing when I was young."
Atlanta wrestling? Is it?
Yeah, something like that. It's backyard brawling, pickup truck, circle pins like you put cattle in, get in there and fight. The dude that's standing wins all the money, that kind of thing. And so, he
Every which way but
he said,
loose.
"Listen, man, you're
Clint
not able to fly anymore. This is the bad news. The good news is I can fix you up. We can go up in there." And what had happened was they had left some gauze that was the non-dissolving type gauze up in the air pocket or up in the cavity.
Yeah.
He went in there and said, "I'm not going to take it out, but you have an abscess. You need some antibiotics." So he took a syringe, stuck it up in there with nothing on it to let the air out, and then he injected the cavity with an antibiotic. Solved the problem. I never had the pressure sensitivity again. I went back. I put my package in for my waiver because I had sinus surgery, so you have to get a waiver to continue flying. And they said that they had removed so much tissue from my sinuses that I would now not have enough membrane between my brain and my sinus cavity to continue to fly.
What?
Wow.
So here's the deal. So go all the way back to when Dewey shot me in the face with a gun.
Damn it, Dewey.
And then that causes me to get my tooth pulled, which causes me to have a gauze stuck in there, which causes me to now go medically down and decide what else I'm going to do in the Navy other than be a pilot. I was down for almost a year. I had an office job. I worked 3 on and 4 off. And 4 on and 3 off. It was kind of a rotational deal, and I fished my ass off. And I started winning tournaments in Texas, and I discovered kayak fishing, and I had some time, basically. It's the first time I had time to do anything other than focus on what I was doing in the Navy. So that shot in the face changed the whole course of the rest of my life and come full circle, and I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing now
Hey, Chad,
if it hadn't happened.
you're right. Your story is better than mine. So I had a root canal and they pulled the tooth.
So why don't you call it Dewey one?
What's that?
Dewey one?
Dewey one?
In honor of Dewey, because you wouldn't be
Oh,
doing this
that's
if it weren't
right.
for
You
Dewey.
may
Come
not
on,
be
man. You
doing
got to
it.
pay
Yeah.
Dewey some homage.
We could do that.
Y'all need to do a custom kayak.
We
and
talk about
call it
Dewey.
Dewey.
We talk about
yeah.
Dewey on a pretty regular basis, But to get Dewey, a Dewey edition kayak, you're going to have a kayak that doesn't pay its child support, that is in and out of jail a couple times a month.
In and out of
like how you
waterholes.
get thrown in jail and get back out of jail in the same month is beyond me. If you go to jail, you should at least finish the month out. You know what I'm saying?
Serve the
Like he's
term.
got his own pillow. He's got his own. Like they know him at the jail in our town in Jonesville. But
It's like.
So does Steve have any
Mayberry
military law
RFD.
enforcement experience?
No, not really. I did have a nomination.
Well, Chad, first off, thank you for your service.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
In
Yeah,
all
don't
honesty.
Thank,
yes.
don't thank me.
Sincerity.
Thank the ones that are still doing it because they're the ones that are. Yeah,
Yep.
it's crazy.
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for when I served. I got really lucky. I do tell people I had a golden horseshoe up my ass pretty much the whole time. I never was in any convoys or doing some of that crazy stuff that dudes do that are really out there, on the tip of the spear. But we did quite a bit of low-level flying and, some insertion and extraction stuff. We did a lot of stuff with the teams. We did a lot of stuff with EOD.
Yeah.
And I got to do a lot of really cool stuff
Yeah.
on the taxpayer's dime.
Yeah.
Fell in love with really big automatic weapons with the bar.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have ever shot the bar, but it is.
We haven't yet. But
Oh
we
my
want to.
god! Yes.
Now, did you do any fishing while you were?
Yeah, I've
overseas
trolled
and-
off the back of some of the biggest ships in the Navy.
Oh, man.
Make cedar plugs out of mop handles and troll them behind it and hook tuna and
That's awesome.
hell yeah.
Cool.
Totally unsanctioned, by the way. That's
Well, of course. It wouldn't be fun otherwise.
yeah.
So when it comes to pop culture stuff, movies, TVs, video games, books, magazines, whatever, if it involves firearms, what's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of practical weapons that are also tactical weapons, if that makes sense. I'm a big fan. Probably a 1911 is one of my favorite ever.
I don't think you
Okay.
heard the question.
Ever.
Okay, when it comes to pop culture,
pop culture,
Movies, TV,
that's firearms
books,
related.
anything.
Video games.
Okay, let me say this. Let
Like
me
a
put it to
TV
you this
show
way:
or a movie.
any movie where Scarlett Johansson is shooting, because
Because she's Scarlett Johansson.
yeah, I would Ryan Reynolds because he her,
Oh, okay.
You know
I was
what I'm
gonna say they're
saying?
no longer. She's like fair game.
but he
now.
her is what I'm saying. So
Supposedly,
if that's as close as I could get, I'd do it.
I've
Go
not.
for
I've
it.
not seen any pictures of
Yeah,
that.
I'd probably suck his because it's been in her.
He'd probably let you.
You know what I'm saying?
Never heard that one before.
Yeah.
So,
but
Steve.
but anyway, Scarlett Johansson, her with the guns. I mean, she does a really good job in
Yeah.
making it look like she knows
What
what,
else
she's
has
doing.
she been in other than the Avengers? That
She's got one coming out called Lucy that looks pretty good, where she's kind of. I don't
Yeah.
know if I think she uses guns.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but anyway, the top of the list though.
She has some
the,
guns.
The top of the list is Salma Hayek with a gun. Riding some dude in that Mexican Diablo movie, that fucking does it for me. Like if there was like 25 seconds left on Earth and you had to rub one out for the last time, you didn't have time to hook one up, and it was like a radio show where you could just queue up any clip, a clip, it'd be that clip.
It's Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
in Desperado.
Or Bandoleros or whatever it is.
What is it?
I don't know.
Back when her titty, like pre-Frida, when her titties
mariachis.
were still up there where they're supposed to be, and she hadn't Edward Norton yet and all that. She's like,
That's the Hulk.
she's the man.
Was the Hulk.
She is awesome.
Yeah, he's the Hulk.
I'll just say shooter.
Shooter. Here we go.
I'll be simple
So
on this.
Steve's on record with shooter.
Yeah.
You just come out straight shooter.
Has there ever been a gun in your arsenal, or is there currently one that there's a little bitty part of you that's kind of embarrassed to say, yeah, I've got one of those?
No.
No?
That I'm embarrassed to say I've got one.
Or had one, or like maybe you bought one back when it first came out, it was cool, and then it
Or
ended up
maybe
being just a
a
flop.
accessory, you know, like
Yeah, I bought a bone collector muzzleloader. That was
Okay.
kind of fucking dumb. I paid $167 extra for a fucking logo on the side of a deer skull with glowing
it was
eyes.
green. It was green.
It's green. It's black and green.
Yeah.
It was smart marketing.
That was worth extra, maybe 50, but I don't know
Yeah.
about that much.
What about one you had that you got rid of that you want back?
Brown and Satori double barrel.
Nice.
But
How'd that
yeah.
get away? Is there a story behind that?
Broke ass E5.
There
not
you go.
making enough money in the military. A neighbor who was took advantage of the situation and said, "Hey, if you're hurting for money, I'll buy that Satori off you." And $1,000 sounds like a lot of money when you're a broke ass E5 and
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And
Take it in a heartbeat.
my grandpa gave it to me, and I was broke, young kids, needed money. Car payments overdue,
Sure.
mortgage overdue.
You ever try to get in touch with that guy, see if he still
need
has it?
Food. I have. I've actually. I regularly search to try to. He's not a Facebook kind of dude,
Right.
But I regularly search and say, I wonder if this dude's there. He's like a doomsday prepper kind of dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he probably would never get like on that level of the grid. But yeah, I've searched his name a few times just to say, hey man, can I get my grandpa's gun back? And every time I hear that Aaron Lewis song, I'm like, you son of a.
Bastard. What about you, Steve?
One gun I sold was a pump 30-06 Remington, and you just don't see them much anymore. That'd be one of the probably
The
the guns.
uniqueness of that.
Yeah, it was my first really deer hunting rifle, and I grew up with a pump shotgun, so that's the reason I bought the pump rifle. It's actually a 270, I think, but you just don't see them anymore much at all.
How'd you get rid of that?
I just sold it, needed some money, and sold it. And,
Yeah.
it's like one of them things.
The
sort of-
almighty dollar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kicks in. Comes to bucket list. Your next gotta have, no matter what, price, no obstacle. What's your next go to? Gotta have.
That I could actually attain or like.
No,
I
it
just
can
said
be
price, no
unattainable.
object.
Yeah.
the
price-
bar.
The bar.
Yeah, it's nostalgic, man. I did some cool with it. I'd love to mount one on top of my truck. And just
You'd love to
drive
just
around.
mount one, I
Yeah, I like mounting stuff. But yeah, I'd like the bar. I'd like to put that on a kayak and take it out and just
you'd call it Selma.
shoot and have it backing the kayak up.
You ever
Yeah,
thought about calling one of your kayaks Selma? Selma kayak?
Yeah, I would actually.
Selma kayak.
Selma kayak.
That
Hey,
would work.
Sell my kayak. How much you
we're
want for
gonna,
it?
we're going to do that.
You gonna sell your kayak? How much
I'm
you
going
want
to
for
hire
it?
a Mexican chick to say, "Hello, my name is Selma Kayak. And if you're looking
That's the
for
best Mexican accent I've
Dude,
ever heard.
that is-
That was awesome.
Sell my kayak. How much you want for it?
Yeah, exactly. Write that down, guys. Selma Kayak.
We just recorded it. So
That's true.
It's
you're
gold.
good.
No, I was talking about those guys back there.
Yeah,
It's
they
gold.
recorded it too.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's true too. as well.
What about you, Steve?
I think I'd like to try. I think the company's out of business, but it's the ShotAc 408. Is that the rifle that was used in the Sniper, the shooter movie? I think it was a ShotAc.
Oh,
The one that he pulled out for the chopper.
Yeah, I think that was a
Because he was
ShotAc.
shooting the Remington 700 at first, and then when the chopper came, he pulled that other one out.
I
Yeah,
thought that was a 50.
Oh yeah, that was the Barrett. No, it's the one he's using when he shoots up the Denty Moore Spear.
yeah, that's his.
Yeah.
That's a ShotAc. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the most accurate
Bar.
sniper
Bar.
gun in the world.
I'm going
Yeah.
full
And I
auto
don't
here.
think the company's in business anymore, but they especially designed that round.
Yeah.
I think it's a
You should
408.
see what the bar will do to dolphins when you're out to sea. Oh my god. Oh, no, I'm talking about mahi. I'm sorry. I wasn't talking.
Mahi.
I wasn't talking
Yeah.
about the cute flipper at SeaWorld. I was talking mahi.
You're talking about the ones that,
like
that rape.
bull dorado
Yeah.
fish.
Just rape dolphin. Dolphin rape, is that what Matt Best calls it?
Hey, let me tell you what's cool though. Probably why I like this gun so much. In Europe, everything's really close together, and a lot of stuff's dissected by the Mediterranean, and so the ships that transport cattle, livestock, if they have any kind of disease or anything, if the animals become infirmed for any reason, they just push them over the side. So
Shark bait.
when you're a young kid, 17, 18, 19 years old, however young I was when I first started deploying, you find these cows floating out in the middle of the Mediterranean, and they look like those Macy's Day Parade floats.
bloated.
They're
balloons.
bloated, and there's all these little silver things, underneath them, just kind of picking at them. But when you shoot one of those with a 50 cal, oh my gosh!
That's better than
Is
Tanner,
it like
right?
that video where the guy
So-
goes to cut the bloated whale and the
Yo,
whale
dude,
explodes?
it is glorious. I would love to mount a GoPro camera on like a boogie board next to it and come by and do a strafing run on a errant floating cow in the Mediterranean. But yeah,
With one of these.
we had a Lieutenant Dave Wimsat from Wetumpka, Alabama, happened to be on the same flight that I was on and said, "Hey, who? You thinking what I'm thinking?" I said, "Well, I'm looking at a Playboy. I hope you're not thinking what I'm thinking, sir." He said, "No, did you see that cow at 1 o'clock?" And I stood up and looked out the door that the crew chief looks out of and was like, "Hell yeah," because I immediately knew what he said. So I pointed at the door and kind of give the pull-out signal to my second crewman. He started pulling the door out. We put the pintle mount in. We put the bar on there. We put the ammo can mount up. We pulled the belt feed in. We set the headspace and the timing. We locked and loaded, and we came by at about 140 knots. And it took me 3 shots to walk it right into the abdomen, and it just exploded.
Boom.
And then we came back around and shot the pieces until there was little pieces. And it was one of them big black and white, like Jersey cow, like, what I mean?
yeah.
Like a stereotypical big cow.
Right.
It was it was awesome.
That would have been a
Nice.
good GoPro moment, yeah. That would have been sweet. Last week we put this poll to our listeners, and it was,
Oh, you're
what's
talking
your
about the
top 3 gunslingers, fictional gunslingers?
Clint Eastwood.
Okay,
Anything Clint Eastwood. Fictional?
fictional.
It's,
Which
it's
Clint
definitely
Eastwood
not
character would be your top?
the dude from Unforgiven, because that was real. You know what I mean? It wasn't this choreographed Hollywood, sound effects of the ricochet. I think Unforgiven was still one of the best westerns ever made, and I think the gunplay
good one, yeah.
in that movie is
That's
probably the most realistic ever.
and Morgan
'cause
Freeman in that?
when you shoot a dude, he don't just die. They showed like real dying in that movie, like guts hanging out, climbing up the stairs, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it shows what a 12 gauge to the abdomen will do to you. So Clint Eastwood and Unforgiven, followed by, as cliche as you can go, Dirty Harry. And mostly because he said, mine's bigger than yours. And I'm really a big fan of that. And then after that...
You're in a size comparison.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Scarlett Johansson with any type of weapon in her hand.
Okay.
So,
What about Blazing Saddles?
We had one of those last week.
Yeah, that was mentioned once.
Yeah.
It's the first time Scarlett Johansson's been mentioned.
Yeah. So what about you? Top 3 fictional gunslingers.
What about
You said Shooter was your favorite movie, so you got to go with Marky Mark.
Bobby
and
Lee Swagger.
Bobby
Yeah.
Lee Swagger.
yeah, you're kind of tied in there, Steve.
yeah?
So, yeah, I circled mine. Came back to Scarlett Johansson.
What's Brad Pitt's wife, Jolie?
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, in Tomb Raider.
Dude, that was a good
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, what was the one where they were bending bullets and shit?
Wanted. That was a good
Wanted.
movie.
That was really good.
That was a really good movie.
The Mr. and Miss Smith, I thought was a good
No.
movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah,
there
that was
too.
hot.
So
That's actually when I developed my chicks with guns hot fetish thing. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you, prior to that movie, I didn't think women should have any contact with firearms.
You really are wanting women to come after you, don't you?
Well, I mean, I have an ex-wife, and I think arming and training
We all do here.
your enemy makes no sense. And I just want to break it down for all of your listeners out there. Every wife has the potential to become an ex-wife. So be careful in how much you train up your enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Again, the views of Talking
Lead do not align with the views, of Chad
Talking
Hoover.
Lead.
and Steve.
And Steve.
But like Steve said, she'd be too weak to load it and too stupid to shoot it. So I'm not really that worried about it. So.
Steve didn't say that. So
All right, so Steve, you gave us 2. What's your third?
Yosemite Sam. Nobody gave us Yosemite Sam, dadgummit. Fictional gunslinger.
Yeah,
It is true.
that's
So was
a guy
Elmer
that-
Fudd.
Wah, wah, wah.
That was Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd. There you go.
Yeah.
Chad looks.
Nobody
a
said
little
Barney Five.
I'm hunting wabbits.
Haven't got a
Chad
Barney
looks a
Five.
little bit. You need
Very
to bring him in his
quiet.
character with Mobass.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. The one thing I actually convinced my grandpa to let me start hunting with a shotgun because of Elmer Fudd.
Really?
Yeah, he used to make me hunt
Side by
squirrels.
side?
He used to make me hunt squirrels with a 22, which is a pain in the ass. You know,
Yeah.
when you're young. I like it more now, but when I was young, and then I'll be honest with you, like those moments in movies when the clouds open up and you can hear angels singing and the light rays come through.
Right.
The first time I went squirrel hunting with a shotgun and the squirrel was running and I just shot and he just fell, I thought that was the greatest ever invented. I was like, I just shot and he just died. This is the easiest way in the
I
world.
had one of those
to make
moments
things
when I was
die.
like 8 or 9 and I had my BB gun and I was just shooting at birds that were flying and I hit one and I had that moment. It was like,
Yeah.
I actually can't.
Kind of when you go on your first dove hunt, too.
I had a moment.
Look
I
at that
shot
first
a dove one time with 22 flying.
You shot a dove with a 22?
Flying, yeah.
That's
it was,
impressive.
But it was rat shot, so
Oh.
yeah. But still, I was
Well,
impressed.
Do you,
Yeah,
any of you guys know what the Louisiana state bird is?
yeah. The mosquito, right?
No, it's a pelican, a brown pelican. Have you ever seen one up close?
I thought
Yeah.
it was
A brown pelican?
Yeah,
I
they're
thought
like
it's a mosquito.
They're like a modern day pterodactyl.
They're ugly.
But I didn't know how big they were. You want to know how I found out how big a brown pelican is?
Well, let's hear it.
You ever heard the joke where people take you snipe hunting?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know that whole thing?
Yeah.
So my grandpa and my uncle are supposedly setting me up on a snipe hunt, and they set me in a corner, but they actually gave me a gun, which was a bad idea. I would never. I've done snipe hunt jokes to people since then. I would never give them a gun. They gave me a gun. See, I was a smart kid, so they had to give me a gun to make me think I was really hunting. I would have never fell for that shining
Yeah.
a light in a bag bull. So I guess that's they had to do what they did.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the corner of the field, and my one uncle is telling me I've got to do this snipe call, and then my grandpa's behind me telling me I got to do this or that. Well, he was going to sneak around to where my uncle was at, and they were going to come running through the woods making this god-awful noise, which, had it got to that point, I probably would have shot him.
You remember the noise?
I don't know. They
Can you
said
recreate it?
they told me they were going to do a god-awful noise. So what happened was my grandpa was sneaking around to meet up with my uncle to come in and scare the shit out of me, and I hear these wings flying by, and I look up, and the sky is almost blacked out. And I shoot.
Your pants.
I shoot amongst the. No, I shoot I shoot in, dude. I'm not. I've got a firearm. I have no fear, no reason to be frightful. I'm the armed one, the 9-year-old redneck kid. So I shot,
Looking for snipe.
and then it was on a snipe hunt. So I shot, and I can remember feeling in my feet the impact when the thing hit the ground.
Really?
Yeah, so what had happened is like 6 pelicans flew by, and they blacked out the sky, so I just shot up in amongst them and knocked one down. And pelican tastes like because
Did they make you eat it?
No, my grandpa's got that if you kill it, you got to eat it raw.
Oh, my gosh.
My God. Pelican, I mean...
I think that was just their punishment for you for showing them up on a snipe hunt.
Pelican smells like... I mean, it's the nastiest It's like rotten fish with ass, with a topping, like an extra topping of ass on it.
Because that's what they eat, isn't it?
Yeah, they eat fish, but I've never, I've heard that things that eat fish taste like it, but we've eaten river otter. They don't taste like fish. You know what I mean? Them some good little. I think everybody should eat river otter. They should kill all them some because they eat too many game fish. We won't get off on that rabbit hole. But yeah, I shot a pelican on a snipe hunt, and they're big.
That's awesome.
They got like a 9-foot. No, it's not. It's like 6 foot. It's like a 6-foot wingspan.
Wow,
they're big.
I just think it's awesome because you showed up your uncle's
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I killed something on a snipe hunt, and they're like, "Wait, this
that
is
big."
The way this is supposed to work was you're just supposed to sit there, and we're going to come through the woods and scare you, and then we'll teach you how the snipe hunt works, and then you can do the joke on somebody else. Stupid. I'm like, oh, my bad. And my grandpa goes, yeah. Now let's go clean that pelican. I'm like, oh, man.
Thanks, Gramps.
He cannot be serious.
That's not right.
And now it's time for Facts to Fight the Myth.
And this week's Facts to Fight the Myth is brought to you by Cantu Bruner Designs.
You almost went radio voice on me.
Yeah.
It's brought to you by
And this
Bruner
week's
Designs.
sponsor is Cantu Bruner. Get your pins. This is a Cantu Bruner pin, by the way.
Wow.
This is their Stealth
nice.
308.
Did you just sneak in a plug on his TV show?
Hey, that's awesome.
I did.
And every
Check
guest
it out.
of the show gets a Cantu Bruner pin to take home for themselves.
Every guest of Hook One.
Yeah, look at that. That is actually pretty badass.
Yeah, it's awesome. CantuBrunerDesigns.com. Now I did the radio voice.
Yeah, you did. It's kind of contagious.
It is.
We could make this part of the Selma Kayak edition.
You know, he's got a radio voice too, and he does his ad sponsors too. I noticed that.
Are you talking about that?
I watched your little boat
Actually,
anchor.
yeah, people walk in the shop and they're like, dude, you don't sound nothing like you sound on TV. And I'm like, hold on a second. You ready? And they're looking at me like I got a growing out of my forehead. You know what I mean? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you guys ready? And they're like, yeah. And I go, for outstanding customer service, expert advice, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, visit Hook One at kayakfishinggear.com. And they go, oh, it is him. So I told you he was that fat. See, Dad, you could paddle a kayak. You're almost as big as he is. I had a wife the other day go, I'm looking for a kayak for my husband, but he's not the smallest guy. And Joe Hobbenridge, our general manager, goes, well, Chad Hoover actually designed some of the kayaks, and he's not a small guy. And in fact, Chad's right here. And she turned around and goes, oh, yeah.
Bless your heart.
What do you paddle? Because he could definitely paddle that. In other words, he's nowhere near as fat as you are.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, so what are we doing now?
We're doing a fact to fight.
Yeah, you're
sponsored by
give
Cantu
us a
Bruner.
myth.
I think it's
Design.
a dolphin, ain't it?
That's what it is.
It's not a hook. It's a dolphin.
looks
It's
like
a big teardrop.
it's a
I'm
dead
getting
dolphin.
one on each eye cheek after I kill somebody in the shop. I mean, I've killed people before. We've
that's the official
discussed
symbol
my
for
track
small
record.
people there.
Yeah. Yep. It's for Hang's big tuck it right. My girl sent
Hang
me
left.
the girl that does my decals actually sent me some with the sticker reversed because she makes these iron-ons for PFDs and some of her other stuff, and she forgot to flip the graphic back, and she sent them to me. She's like, "Does it really matter?" I was like, "Yeah, this logo is tucks to the right. I don't tuck to the left. This got to be accurate." And she's like, "Oh my god,
It's got to represent me exactly.
it's got to be representative."
I think this is the show where we should ask our listeners, should we bleep out cuss words or not?
Wow, have you guys been cussing on this show?
We do, but we bleep them.
I'm just messing with you. I have people that come in the shop and they'll start cussing, and I'll be like, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you guys to stop cussing because we don't allow that here." And they're always like a little
Confused.
Did he just
Excuse me?
say okay? Anyway, so facts to fight the myth.
Yeah, you got to.
All right, so my primary area of expertise is obviously fishing. So my fact to fight the myth is going to be the the big fish, big bait myth. You know, everybody says that. It's a common cliche. Can you catch big fish on big baits? Absolutely. But elephants eat peanuts. You know what I'm saying? So there's big fish out there that sustain themselves on very small baits. And by and large, people use the small bait concept on heavily pressured reservoirs and in places where, you know, they're trying to do something a little different, something a little smaller, so that the fish doesn't get as good a look at the lure. But, you know, I think at certain times of the year, you know, if you're matching the hatches, whether it's sand eels or if you're matching the size of the forage out there, you know, like the certain times of the year when the shad are really small, that you can go too big, you know, and I think sometimes too big is a problem. And so,
but it's never too big for the plopper.
No.
I thought size didn't matter.
But you're just deciding, when you decide to do that, you're deciding to forego every other fish out there except the biggest, baddest around that's going to hit that. You know, the one that's in the mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because here's the deal. I was married for 8 years, and I could never really tell when she was in the mood to put it in her mouth. But when it comes to fishing, I just have a sixth sense about when they're willing to chomp on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the big bait, big fish theory.
She should have been a fish.
The big bait,
Incredible
big
Mr.
bait,
Lippet.
big fish theory is a good one. But by and large, a lot of times slowing it down, downsizing your bait, and the combination of a slower presentation and downsizing your bait accounts for a lot of big fish for me that I don't talk about a lot, even on the show. But that's probably the biggest one, is the big fish, big bait. You can catch monsters on, you know, like you don't have to have a big to get a hot chick. You know what I'm saying? Look at Monica Lewinsky.
Well, it sounds like
Bill
you
Clinton.
know a lot about fishing, so you're
do.
a masturbator, I guess.
Pretty much, yes, a masturbator, top of the line.
Top of the line masturbator. There you go.
But yeah, big fish, big bait. That's it. It's definitely. I think you can downsize and catch a lot of really big fish.
Nice.
Good tip for all our fishermen and women out there.
Yeah, I got a question for your triple barrel shotgun, which I think you already answered earlier. One thing I like about it, you said you could put different chokes in each barrel, right?
Yeah.
So it could almost be, let's go back to dove hunting, like I said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
One's coming close, you got to choke for that one. You miss, well, the next one's got a broader choke, and then the next one's a broader choke.
And
That's
stack
brilliant.
and stack your shells.
Yeah.
So, you know, like in a waterfowl situation, you know, you could have a 2 3/4 inch number 6 shot
Right.
for your first shot. Second, number 5. For your second shot, a number 5, 3 inch, and then a number 4, 3.5 inch.
Right.
So not only can you stack your chokes, but your shells, and you can't do that in any other traditional gun because you feed a shell in, you never know which way it's going to go or whatever. So this one,
What's the length of that one you got there?
this is the home protection version. It's got a 18-inch barrel. Another one is a 28-inch barrel.
That's a monster.
Yeah.
You know,
This
and-
one has the removable. You can actually take the stock off, so it converts to a pistol
grip.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can take that off.
You know, Zeke, and another thing about that is, you know, I fish out of a kayak a lot, but also hunt out of it for duck. And the way that I set it up, it's almost like a floating layout blind. And so it's cold. You're dressed warm. You're laying there. There's not a lot of action. So there are times when I fall asleep. You know, everybody does it.
Sure.
And so you wake up and you've got ducks in the decoy spread all around you. So you can start off with the 2 3/4 and light load to flush the ducks, you know, and then you can have a modified kind of 3-inch, let's say number 3,
Right.
and then you can have like a full choke 3.5 inch, let's say number 1, still. So you've got them from in close to intermediate to kind of reach out and touch someone.
Nice.
And the same thing with geese hunting. I'm really looking forward to doing some goose hunting with this thing, because same thing, you have these geese come in by the thousands, you know, because you've got your deeks out in the field, and then
You get your what?
Your deeks, your
what?
decoys,
What? Oh.
your decoys,
Yeah.
deeks. We call them deeks down there in the Tennessee.
I mean, big dakes.
Yeah,
I mean,
Tennessee, the big
I got my
dakes.
dakes in my pants, but
Yes,
yeah.
sir. So anyway, they that's
got
another
two?
good
You
setup.
got more than one?
Is that
Yeah,
is
I got a
that you
spare.
can
Spit it out. It's
is
mine.
that you can you can set it up where you can shoot birds in close, and then as they spread out and they're taking off, and then same thing for quail hunting. You know, a lot of times you flush the quail.
Now, are you able to switch your chambers after
No.
after you've loaded it?
This one
I guess
here,
you can't, can you?
No, this
Yeah.
one's a fixed shooting sequence now. My patent actually calls for a selector switch where you can select the barrel. So probably in the future they'll have a
Like a
version-
rotating barrel.
Well, you can actually select
Just
the
select
barrel.
the barrel.
Yeah, you
Select
just
Like a
select
barrel. Oh, okay.
which barrel you want to shoot.
Right.
And we've got a 20 gauge out this year too. So it comes in about a pound, about a pound lighter than the 12 gauge. So.
And my question is for your cameraman, because I think his angle was right, but I just want to make sure he got Steve doing this a
Angle,
lot.
we do, a lot.
Yeah, because as he was talking,
Yeah. Did you have foregrip
yes,
fondling envy?
yes, I
Yeah.
did.
I
just
did
want
too.
to see if-
Steve, I have a tendency to do that when I do gun reviews also, so don't feel bad.
yes.
The triple,
No.
the
When
triple
Left
D.
Hand does gun reviews, he does the Vanna White. He'll be like, his hand flips over and he just rubs down the side.
I've got my hands insured. These are model hands. So. What do I do with my hands?
So if somebody wants to get one, where do they go?
They're going to be out in retailers. We're going to actually be doing a limited edition version with Chad.
The Not Right edition.
Yeah,
The
so
Not Right edition.
We'll have it on his website and my website.
Is that going to be the one that shoots all three at the same time?
Yeah. and I'm left-handed, so
Call it
it's
the
not right.
wad. You shoot the wad.
So I've got a website called triplebshotgun.com. We've got
Okay.
some videos.
We want to
and
be in
stuff
on the
like that.
zombie production one. It needs to be the talking.
He wants to
lead
be on the zombie one.
We're going to come back and actually shoot a zombie, I think, show Chad.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to
Yeah,
we're going to do a MOBAS shooting a field of zombies, which are mop handles and fruit,
Yeah.
watermelons and such. But yeah, we're going to do that. We're
Heck
on
yeah.
some pop-up targets.
So if y'all
Delta
got-
Targets actually just came out with a pop-up, foam ballistic gel core zombie target.
Oh,
Really?
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can
Sweet.
blow their back out, blow their heads up,
So
and
can
they're
you
just
get one of those?
replace. Oh, I'm working on it. I sent them an email about it 3 weeks ago, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Watermelons are always fun too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are.
It's
They
hard
are.
to beat.
They are.
Cantaloupes.
But
Any
a,
kind of melons.
a ballistic gel zombie head would be awesome
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's in a
with
specific
a wig. With a wig,
pattern of someone's face.
Yeah.
We do a slow motion video cam shot.
we
Right?
actually can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut out the back of it and put a red spray paint can in it.
That's
There
our
you go.
version.
That'd be
For
awesome.
all you,
We didn't talk about it yet, but I had the pleasure of shooting with one of your buddies,
Yeah.
Mr. 22 Plinkster.
Yeah.
We went out to his place yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and we got to do a little shooting cards in half and
Did you split a card?
throwing golf balls up. And
did you use the triple barrel shotgun to split the
well,
card?
here's the deal. 22 Plinkster had some stuff come up, and we had to head out there yesterday. We were supposed to meet up with Steve and go out to his place and do the triple barrel. One of the Canadians guys that's filming us right now wanted to shoot an AK-47, something fierce.
These guys are Canadians?
So yeah, they're Canadian.
Really?
So
Wow. We got a lot of Canadian listeners.
we
do.
took the AK out. We took one of my ARs out there. We took he took his Woodsman, and we borrowed a shotgun because we didn't have the triple threat. And so, we have to. It's called reality TV, but you manufacture some of the reality.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
So 22 Plinkster shot at the card, and he apologized in advance that he was a little shaky, but shot it in half on like the second shot. And
Yeah.
and then he had his new target with the suicide plate, where you have to shoot through the plate with a 1 inch diameter, and then and so he handed me the pistol, and I was supposed to miss it like 10 times and get frustrated and go get the triple barrel shotgun and just blow the card away, and
Kinda like what I did.
that was going to be the scripted part of it.
Yeah.
It's called pulling a Zeke.
But again, when you're as good a shot as I am, even faking it, you cut the card in half on the second shot. So
Did you really?
yeah,
Dadgummit.
second shot.
9 for me.
First shot, I was actually just trying to figure out where the gun shot, and then I shot
I've
it.
not had an opportunity to go up there and do that yet.
And then
It took me 9.
And with his
I'm
new
anxious.
target, did you shoot the new target yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you guys want to again, take a guess at how many shots it took me to do that? One shot.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be building up to
It
it.
took 2 shots. I had to shoot the plate back around, and I actually missed the plate on the first time.
Uh-huh.
And then I shot the plate and swung it back around. Then first shot through the hole, boom, dang.
So
Just
you
handed
shot it
him-
once to get it in the position you wanted it,
Yeah.
and then you shot it again.
and then shot it first shot.
Dead idea.
And then I just handed him the gun and walked off. It's kind of one of those deals where if you're shooting around with Michael Jordan and you knock the bottom out of the gate, from like the first shot, you don't take any more shots.
Yeah, you're done.
You know what I mean? You've already hit it out of the park.
You don't shoot
up the
another to
deck.
prove you that it wasn't luck.
Yeah, you
it's
just walk off. So cut the card in half, hit the plate, I'm done.
Peace out.
I'm out.
It's like,
Peace out.
cut.
Yeah, cut. And then he just
Wrap.
put on some, put on the display shooting the golf balls and doing some other stuff. Awesome guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And
amazing shot.
and then we got the Canadians, and they got up there and shot some, and
Really?
got the old AK-47. In fact, here's what happened. So 22 Plinkster had to run. He had some stuff going on, and his wife was coming back, and he said, "Well, guys, I gotta get going." And so we had to shoot the part where I kind of drive away, for the show, and then I loop around and come back down. And as I'm driving down, I'm going to get out of the truck and go ahead and let these guys off the hook if they didn't really want to shoot. And I said, "Hey guys, if you don't want to," and before I could get it out, we'll just say it. We'll just say Kelsey. Kelsey, do you mind if I say Kelsey on this? Okay, so we'll say Kelsey.
He's a good cameraman
So-
because he's not talking. He's just
So
going,
basically,
shaking his head.
Kelsey says,
Hand signals.
He says, he's like, "We're going to shoot the AK now." And I was like, sweet, because most Canadians
Yeah.
are kind of, they're not guns aren't that big up there. We'll just say it that way.
They kind of got a little underground.
Yeah, the big underground. They're
Yeah.
called the country,
Yeah.
but not where these
a
guys
little
are
bigger
from.
than what you think up
They're
there.
from they're
Yeah.
more the city country. The more progressive is
Gotcha.
what they want to call it. So regressive is what I call it. But anyway, so Kelsey, I got to see Kelsey's O face.
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. He shot the AK and he looked over, and I've never f***ed a dude, so I don't know what a dude's O face. I mean, we joke about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I was telling these guys yesterday, I was like, I'd know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I'm not saying it's a bad choice of lifestyle. What I'm saying is I couldn't do it. I can't even brush my teeth without almost throwing up, and I was just chewing on my fingernail and almost gagged myself. So I know I couldn't be gay. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that I know what a dude's O face looked like, but I can tell you that's his O face because I saw it when he shot. He looked over and was just like, if he smiled any harder, his face would have split.
Did he have the aftershots?
Oh my God, he had no. I can show you the pictures. He was actually dry humping, like doing a little hip flexor motion while he was shooting the gun, which I can actually remember. I used to do the same thing, and routine. I have to consciously tell myself, don't do the air dry hump while
air
you're shooting
dry
right now. So he shot the AK and then shot the AR with a bull barrel, and it kicked out about a 3-foot flame, and we got some good photos of that. And
Nice.
now he gets to upload that as his Facebook cover photo. I'm like,
Changed your life, didn't
what's
it?
up, bitches?
I did a first this weekend too
What'd
when
you
I
do?
went on that shoot. One of the guys had one of those bump fire stocks.
You didn't shoot one in Georgia?
No, I didn't do a bump fire.
Oh, okay.
No, he had the bump fire on his AK, and I shot that for the first time too. I wasn't impressed with him.
Yeah,
it's
so-
still kind of cool, but
But
I
when you
think
shot a full auto, a real full auto, it's kind of like you got to hold it just
lackluster.
right and
well,
get
you
the
gotta
pressure
you got to
right.
press forward,
Right.
And
the
you got to go
pressure's
against what's natural.
Yeah.
And but I mean, it was cool for a couple seconds, but then
But when you
after
get
I
out of
got
the
that
groove,
AR,
like
and I
if you
did
were
my-
in the and you got out of the groove, you know what I'm talking about? And you get out of the spot.
Yeah.
It's there's a sweet spot, and if you get out of the sweet spot, you're kind of.
I mean, I was going to
Yeah.
town with that Elfman
So you
trigger.
talk about
I mean, it
actually
was-
the recoil itself.
Yeah.
the recoil
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, that's why they call it the bump fire.
Yeah, you can
So-
do this shotgun like that.
You just rest your finger on it, and then you're pushing the stock forward or the forearm forward. As long as you're pushing forward, it's going to keep bumping.
There's a video.
But your natural tendency is to pull it in close
Yeah.
to you. You know, so it kind of throws off your rhythm. But it was fun. It's the first time I'd done it.
What you got coming
Shot
up?
one of those.
You want to plug?
Well, man, I've just wrapped an episode down in Gunnersville. That was hard. We fished in some like Forrest Gump rain, and we 35, 40 mile an hour winds. We
Does Gunnersville still have all that seaweed in the
surfed
freaking
away.
lake?
Yeah. There's a big fight between the homeowners and the fishermen. Homeowners want it gone. Fishermen want it to grow, and so yeah. But I mean, it's a great lake. It was hot, man. That lake could probably fish better in the kayak in the backwoods and places we can get early in the spring. I was just busy that year, but I'm actually flying out Monday morning. We're heading to Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Up in the northern part, as far as you can go, almost.
You're going up to these guys here.
Yeah, well,
eh?
we're going up there above them. Actually, we're going up to almost to the tundra.
Oh, wow.
And actually, Ken, the producer, was supposed to head up with me, and ended up having such a big workload on his plate, he had to bail.
Pictures with that.
And so now we are taking my son, 14 years old, and we're going to go up there and catch some monster pike. I think the last time these guys went up there, they caught just ridiculous numbers.
Now, which show is this for?
This is for kayak bassing.
Okay.
And for not right kayak fishing.
Gotcha.
So we're heading up there, and we're just going to film some big pike debauchery for. We've got 7 days to film, but we're going to take 2 days and just fun fish. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We'll probably have a camera in a bag. It's tough for these guys to hold a camera up on their shoulder and twisting around in the kayak for 5 and 6 days at a time.
You mean you don't give them like a big boat?
No. Actually, Ken prefers to be in a kayak and be all twisted and contorted and have your foot on the back of his head.
Contortionist, huh?
Yeah, he likes the full Nelson. That's his favorite. And he likes you to lock your ankles together. You know what I mean?
Those Canadians.
Oh, my gosh.
Behind your ears.
Friggin' Canucks.
Yep.
Eh.
So that's my next trip. Monster pike. I'm actually going to take one of Steve's inventions. Steve's an inventor. He also invented, and that's actually how we got to know each other, is he developed a turtle lure that is like a small juvenile turtle. Got one of the coolest color names in the history of fishing lures, the business of fishing lures, and that color is cooter.
Okay.
Snapper.
I actually get to say cooter on a regular basis on TV
Because of that color.
because it's the color of the lure.
And what color is that?
It's cooter colored. And then next year we're coming
Like
out
roast
with,
beef?
Yeah, it's like no, it's not that cooter. You guys
Like
got
rare
You got to get some different cooter. It's no, it's not pink with hair on the back. It's we actually have that one coming out called Angry Beaver. No, it's
Isn't there an Angry Beaver?
it's like
Beaver
a,
lube.
It's like
Beaver
a green.
lube,
It's
yeah.
a green cooler, like a pumpkin green color.
Okay.
And so we're taking that up there, and then
See the
Chris is
turtle.
so Steve's working on a Chad Hoover special edition color. We're going to call it Snapper, and
Snapper.
yeah, it's going to be
So Chad was one of my first field testers. With
What
this
material is
lure.
that made out of?
It's just a soft
soft
plastic.
plastic.
But the shape of the turtle actually creates a predatory strike with
Okay.
the fish.
Because they're a nest raider.
Yeah, but what a lot of people didn't realize is fish actually eat these turtles. They eat them as a high protein source also. So you get a double whammy. You get a predatory strike, and
Right.
you also get one, they'll eat it. So, Chad, he was one of my first field testers, and it's created a lot of buzz. He's got some
It's kind
phenomenal
of like
video.
it's kind of like backing into a Prius. You guys do that?
Back into the
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hitch on my truck, and
Uh-huh.
so if I'm ever at like anywhere and there's a Prius, I back into it.
Just for the hell of it.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
No, not for the hell of it, because it's a Prius.
So
It's
if you're
one of
in your
those
truck
things.
when you back into a Prius, you're hitting the windshield probably. Right?
Probably, yeah. No, the flip gate, whatever that's called. It's not a tailgate. The lift gate.
The lift gate.
Yeah, that
Okay.
part. Yeah, right at the Prius word. I mean, it's like perfect height. It bends it in half. and-
That's awesome.
yeah,
the Chad,
and then
Chad,
it becomes a puss. It takes out the RI, and it's now called the
Yeah,
puss,
the puss.
which is what it should have been named in the first place.
but Chad can tell you the fish they hit this lure to kill it, and it's a very violent strike when they hit it versus a lot of lures that you may think you might have a bite or something.
Yeah, I met Steve at the Bassmasters Classic in Birmingham about 5 years ago, and he walked up to me like a pervert trying to sell me he had like a trench coat on. He kind of said, "Hey, man,
Did you flash him with
can
it?
I show you something?" And I kind of backed up a little bit and said, "Yeah." And he got a big shit-eating grin on his face and reached in, and I was still a little bit reluctant about what was about to happen. And he pulled it out of his pocket, and immediately when he showed it to me, I was like, dude. I mean, I knew. Like, I saw every possible combination of why it would work. And he's like, "What do you think?" He started trying to give me the sales pitch. I'm like, "Bro, when can I get some?" Like, he's like, "Well, these are just prototypes." And he had them in a bag by a company that I'm actually good friends with. I was like, "Who's making these for you?" And I said the guy's name, and he's like, "Yep, they're the ones that run it." I said, "Dude, get me involved. I'm an aeronautical engineer. I will help. I'll get involved." I took him out. I was like, "They need to be a little bigger. They need to have this." And I was blowing his phone up, and he's like, "Dude, we're doing them as fast as we can." I was like, "Can you get me some more samples?" I was like this. I was like, "Hey, man, can I get some more turtles?" You know what I'm saying? And so he would send me a couple packs, and I'd run through them. And I was telling him about all these monster bass I was catching in the backwoods. And this is like right about the time the TV stuff is starting to go, but I'd stopped carrying GoPro cameras with me. And I mean, I just went into some places and just annihilated bass on these things. In fact, we went. I'll tell one last story, and you guys can get us off here. But we went
No,
to
we're not going to get you off.
we went to
not what we do here.
Okeechobee, and the joke was the people calling all the time asking, "Hey, what's the hot lure down here?" And so they always give them bullshit information because they're calling to milk this guide service for information, but they don't want to pay for the guide service. And so they said they were telling a joke. The guy was like, "Oh yeah, it's just somebody else calling again, trying to find out where the hot spots are and what they're biting." But when the guy got off the phone, while he was talking to him, he said, "Yeah, oh yeah, shallow water, find grass near 4-foot drops, and throw the bombshell turtle. They're going to kill it." And I went, "Ooh." So I thought, because I always have to convert people to believe that the fish are
Right.
going to hit this turtle thing. And he gets off the phone, and I was like, "Dude, you're fishing the bombshell turtle too?" He's like, "No." He's like, "We tell these people the most ridiculous lure that we can think of when they call just to blow them off." And I was like, "Well, you're messing up if you're telling them to throw the bombshell. If you think they're not going to catch fish, watch this." And I'm standing in my kayak next to his boat. It was the second cast, right? The second cast I cast over. I threw one cast over and ran it in. The second cast I threw in, a 6-pounder comes up, boom, blows it out the water. I set the hook, I reel it in, and I went like, and I turn around and he goes, "Shit." And this guy wasn't very talkative, you know what I mean? He was kind of one of those, damn, just like, I've been duped. And so, yeah, I've converted a lot of people, and it's kind of my go-to secret weapon.
I'm going to have to check it out. So if people want to watch your shows, YouTube, all that stuff.
It's kayakbassintv.com will take you directly to the YouTube channel. It's Kayak Bassin TV with Chad Hoover's on World Fishing Network, and Not Right Kayak Fishing is on NBC Sports. We actually switched to the last quarter this year because the way I look at it is if it's spring and it's early morning, you shouldn't be watching a fishing show. You should probably be doing it. Mm-hmm. And so we switched to the time of the year when it's cold and people are frozen in and guys are going hunting, but it gets dark earlier, so they're back in the house and they're watching TV. And so I think that influences, purchase decisions, places that they're going to go fishing, methods that they're going to try out when the next spring comes around. So we actually are kind of one of the first companies, probably if not the first show, to take the fishing show and go into hunting season and show it when you're sitting on the couch watching TV instead of when you should be out fishing. Because listen, if you're watching a fishing show Saturday morning at like 7:30, you're not really a fisherman. You should be fishing.
Yeah.
So
It's a good point.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Hook One's got a website too, right?
Yeah, Hook One is so for all your kayak fishing gear stuff. If you want to get into what I do, especially, or if you're just looking for fishing stuff, because we sell a lot of fishing stuff, tackle, rods, reels, lures, line, and all that. It's kayakfishinggear.com, and the
Awesome.
name of the company is Hook One because that's what everybody's trying to do.
Green.
Get out there and
Talking Red Green.
Hook
And he's
One.
got the turtles there too, man.
Got the turtles.
turtles.
It's black and green. That's the colors. My truck is gunmetal and green, and looking at going flat black here pretty soon.
Sweet.
And we just got an all black kayak, first one anybody's got anywhere.
Oh,
and we're
dude.
going to outfit it with all lime green accessories, and it is going to be bad.
That'll be badass.
Nice.
We're going to name it
Hashtag
the
badass
badass.
Venus.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yep. It's going to be badass.
Website for the shotguns again?
BBShotgun.com.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Turtles.
The lures.
Well,
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I've got a
you
camouflage
need to get that I like
company, too.
turtles kid.
Yeah,
Going, I like turtles.
I'm actually a camouflage designer too. Started a company up called Cloak, and I've got a whole line of combat tactical patterns. Actually, we've had special force guys test them out, Navy SEALs. So you can check our patterns out on the line at cloakdna.com or just look up Cloak Combat and see our patterns. We've got some real cool patterns. In fact, one of the guns we've got is a combat tactical pattern that you can see some of the patterns.
Is that what that is on that stock?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that.
And I use animals in nature as part of the pattern. So I've actually got a gecko lizard that. So we take those cryptic colorations from the animals in nature to create the patterns. So we got some really cool tactical patterns coming out in the market next year too. So
Awesome.
Yeah, you do a
And
little bit of everything, aren't you?
I started a lime green camouflage craze in the kayak fishing world. So Steve and I are going to work together on a lime green camo for Cloak.
It's kind of
Call
like
it-
we had a show. What is
Call it
tactical?
not right camo.
Yes, it would be not right.
That's what we call it. Like, man, that's camo, but that's not
Not
right.
camo. We call it
Yes.
not camo.
And actually, that'd be perfect for the zombie edition, not right, triple barrel.
Yep.
yeah.
And it's cloak with a K, KLOAK.
Yeah.
Of
DNA.
course,
Of course.
because it's not really cloak.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, ICEtraining.us.
Go check them out and their training schedule for upcoming classes near you. Mm-hmm. Cantu Bruner Designs. They've got some cool pins, as we just talked about today. They do other things, too. What else do they do?
Pins.
They do other things, too. Yeah, they do other things besides pins.
Designs.
Yes, they do designs.
Designs. Okay,
Some
so
badass stuff like 308 caliber pins.
Yes, 50 caliber.
What else do you
pins.
need to do if you have a badass carbon fiber 308 caliber pin? You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
you go
You
to
need to do-
1776 United, 1776united.com, and don't forget our contest, the Talking Lead T-shirt contest, where we're giving away a Two Vets Arms Bravo AR-15. We've added something to that, some ammunition from Vet Made Ammo, right, Zeke?
Yes, we did. Vet Made Ammo has added to that. We're actually going to have a 4th and 5th place, too. You're going to get your choice between 380, 9mm, or 45, a box of 50 rounds, target ammo for 4th and 5th place, and then a box for each
So
one.
there
of the
you
other
go.
places.
We've upped the ante on that contest as if an AR wasn't big enough ante.
Yeah, so...
And you also get the new snap cap from 1776united.com.
and a shirt of your choice.
If you don't have your T-shirt, your Talking Lead, it's got to be Talking Lead T-shirt.
Yep.
Go there and get your Talking Lead T-shirt.
Send us a pic, hashtag Talking Lead t-shirt.
We've got our first entry, haven't we?
Yes, we did.
It's on Instagram, so go check that out. Submit your entries to Facebook or what?
It's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You just got to hashtag it Talking Lead
Yeah,
t-shirt.
don't email it to us. Send it through those 3 forms of media.
Yep. And also Savoy Leather, spelt Savoy, SAVOY leather.com. And enter the code Talking Lead for a discount there.
Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services, HG Press, for all your Middle Tennessee real estate needs. Give those gun-friendly guys and gals a call at 1-800-615-1840, extension pew, 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 pew.
And All or Nothing Tattoo Studios, allornothingtattoo.com, and their very gun-friendly merchandise store, strangleholdmerch.com.
And also go to Clutch Defense and enter the code
Talking Lead 68.
TalkingLead68 for your discount there.
Guys, thanks for coming out, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. It's been
appreciate
fun.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having us.
And as always, left hand, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.